We're live from Joliet, Illinois at Dooley Health and Care Field, the home of the University of St. Francis Fighting Saints, who today host the Roosevelt Lakers in a CCAC doubleheader. Terry Bonadonna with you on the call for today's games as the Fighting Saints take the field and get warmed up for the start of today's Game 1. Let's take a look at the starting lineups. First for the Lakers of Roosevelt. Their leadoff hitter is designated hitter JoJo Mack. Batting second, center fielder Bryce Heyman. Hitting third baseman Kakoa Ogawa. The shortstop, Luis Delgado, bats cleanup. Jack Kiefer is at first base. Hitting sixth, James Berry. Berry's in left field. Sammy Estrada is behind the plate. Batting eighth, Luke Palucci. Palucci is in right field. And batting ninth, second baseman Sebastian Casillas. The starting pitcher for Roosevelt today is Jake Glickman. For the Fighting Saints, it's Alex Martinez leading off and playing second base. Max Montgomery is in left field. Nate Maliska hits third at first base. Jake Klepash is in right. He's the cleanup batter, and I'll tell you about the rest of the starters in just a moment, but we're ready to get rolling here. Ethan Fleming on the mound for the Fighting Saints, and Fleming's first pitch is taken low for ball one. We're underway, 1 o'clock p.m. Central Daylight Time, right on the dot. 1-0 on JoJo Mack, a .337 hitter at the top of the Lakers lineup. Righty versus righty, the next pitch. Swung on and lifted into shallow right field. Klepesh now drifts back on it. He started in, goes back and makes the grab for out number one. Klepesh is the cleanup hitter and right fielder for the Fighting Saints. Let's get the rest of the starting lineup. Batting fifth is the shortstop Brian Hidalgo. Drew Dant hits sixth at third base. Batting seventh, designated hitter John McGuire. Cliff Vickers is in center field. And batting ninth, the catcher Jake Murda. Ethan Fleming is on the mound today for the Fighting Saints, and his first pitch to Bryce Heyman is slapped foul down the left field line, strike one. Ethan Fleming entering play today is 1-3 with an 18.38 ERA. This is his fifth start and his team lead tying 10th overall appearance this year. In 15 2/3 innings, he's allowed 32 runs, all of them earned on 40 hits, with 9 strikeouts and 4 walks. Opponents are batting .476 against him. He clips the outside corner, strike two on Bryce Heyman. As for Heyman, he's a .333 hitter. 2 home runs, 11 RBIs. He's got an OPS over 1,000. He takes outside, 1-2. Both of these teams come into today's game playing well of late. St. Francis in particular has moved into first place in the CCAC. Ball outside, 2-2. And they've done that by winning their last 6 ball games consecutively, including the last 2+ on the road. There's a high pop-up foul territory left side. Drew Dant gives it a run towards the seats. He's out of room. Lands on the lawn down the left field line. Still 2-2 on Bryce Heyman, the center fielder. They say their last 2+ wins were on the road because one of those games actually started here a week ago today against Calumet St. Joe's. They were snowed out after about an inning and a half, and they completed it in Indiana at Calumet. Ball outside, full count. The Saints won that to complete a 4-game sweep of Calumet. Then they took 2 in a row from St. Xavier, so they won 3 out of 4 against the Cougars overall this year. Fleming misses outside, ball 4. He was ahead of Heyman 0-2. Bryce Heyman comes back to draw the walk. And we've got our first base runner of the game. Here's Kakoa Ogawa. Right-handed hitting third baseman out of Pahoa, Hawaii. He swings the first pitch, pops it a mile high on the infield. In a foul territory, the sophomore first baseman Nate Maliska makes the catch. 2 down in the inning. Heyman, on a ball hit just about 10 feet in front of him, is forced to remain at first base. So Fleming is 1 out away from getting out of this inning unscathed despite the 1-out walk. Here's the shortstop, Luis Delgado. Delgado swings the first pitch. He hits it a mile into the air. Shallow left field. The left fielder, Max Montgomery, can't make the catch. Here comes Heyman around third base. He'll try to score, and he slides in ahead of the throw. Roosevelt takes the 1-0 lead on a defensive miscue from St. Francis. Good base running by Heyman with 2 outs. He was gone on contact, never slowed down, and he makes it in just ahead of the throw for the first run of the game. No RBI for Luis Delgado. It's ruled a 2-base error on the left fielder Montgomery. 2 bases for him, 3 bases for Heyman. Here's Jack Kiefer. Kiefer, the first baseman, offers it the first pitch. Fouls it away, strike 1. That ball hit by Luis Delgado into shallow left field was really playable for any of the 3 guys who were there, Hidalgo, Dant, or Montgomery. It drifted far enough back as Kiefer fouls back another one. 0-2. Drifted far enough back that it really was Montgomery's ball, even though Hidalgo was there. Montgomery called him off, and he just misjudged it. The 0-2 pitch wrapped on the ground to short. Here's a chance for Hidalgo. The shortstop throws over to first and ends the inning. A run scores without the benefit of a hit. 1 walk, 1 error, 1 left. We'll go to the bottom of the first inning. Roosevelt strikes first. It's 1-0 Lakers. Alex Martinez, Max Montgomery, Nate Meliska due up for the Fighting Saints in the bottom of the first inning. St. Francis will try to overcome an early 1-0 deficit. Klapash, Hidalgo, Dant, McGuire, Vickers, and Murda make up the rest of the starting lineup. They are facing Roosevelt right-hander Jake Glickman, making his 7th start of the year. Most on the team. He's 2-2 with a 5.10 earned run average. His first pitch is fouled off by Alex Martinez, strike 1. Glickman has pitched a team-high 30 innings. He's allowed 18 runs, 17 of them earned on 37 hits. He's got 13 strikeouts and 12 walks on the season. Opponents are batting .296 against him. Both of these teams have made their bones offensively this season. So don't expect 4 great pitchers' duels over the next 2 days. Martinez takes the ball, 1-1. Alex Martinez was one of many Fighting Saints who had a huge day at the plate on Tuesday when you score 51 runs over 2 games. Probably a long list of guys who had good days offensively as he fouls this one off. 1 ball and 2 strikes. He's got his season average up over 300. In fact, all of their regulars were able to pull their averages over 300 thanks to that incredible performance on Tuesday. Fouled away again. Still 1-2. Martinez is at .310 now, 3 homers, 12 RBIs, .438 on base percentage. He's drawn 15 walks compared to just 12 strikeouts this season. But he's behind in the count here. The 1-2 is flipped down the right field line, and that cuts foul and out of play. St. Francis scored 21 runs in Game 1 of Tuesday's doubleheader against St. Xavier. Ball in the dirt, 2-2. And then it probably seemed impossible that they would match that, but they not only matched it, they surpassed it by a lot. They scored 30 runs in their second game, a game that only went 7 innings. Ground ball left side and into left field. It just sneaks in between Ogawa and Delgado. And Alex Martinez on the 7th pitch of the game opening at bat has himself a single in front of Max Montgomery. Nice piece of two-strike hitting by Martinez. Just found a dead spot on the infield. Couldn't have placed it any better between the two infielders. Potential bunting spot for Max Montgomery, who does a lot of that. He does push it to the right side. Picked up by Glickman, the pitcher, and he bobbles it and can't make the play. So Montgomery gets the runner over. Martinez to second base, and Montgomery is safe at first. 2 on, nobody out. Bunt single for Max Montgomery. Glickman rushed it after making kind of an awkward play. It was a little bit further towards the second baseman than you would normally see a pitcher play the ball. But Sebastian Casillas didn't have enough time to get in on it. So Glickman was going back. He was at a tough angle. I don't know if he would have had a play or not at first. I think he probably would have had he played it cleanly. But again, he was in an awkward position as he fielded it. He tried to rush it, which is why he didn't field it cleanly. Nate Meliska bunts foul, strike 1. Meliska's a .378 hitter. Got 10 extra base hits this season, but he's looking for a sacrifice here, or at least he was on the first pitch and is again on the second one, but he bunts it foul, strike 2. Martinez is at second. He singled on a seeing eye ground ball to the left side of the infield, and then Max Montgomery tried to sacrifice himself but reached on a bunt hit. Now it's Meliska taking a ball high, 1-2. I said right at the open, don't expect 4 pitchers duels this weekend. This has been the ace of Roosevelt's staff. His ERA up over 5 on the season. As a team, their ERA is well over 7. Pickoff throw to second, and Martinez wasn't even really taking a lead, so ball is tossed right back to Glickman. St. Francis's team ERA is over 11 this season. They had one star pitcher, Ryan Daly, but he went 7 innings on Tuesday, so he will not get a start today. I guess he theoretically could get an appearance out of the bullpen as Meliska grounds it to the left side. The charging Delgado gloves, throws to first, and gets his man. Nicely done by Luis Delgado. Nicely done as well, though, by Nate Meliska. He began the at-bat just trying to move up the runners, and he does that. He won't get credit for the sacrifice, so goodbye batting average, but he did his job. 2 men in scoring position. The tying run over at third, the go-ahead run at second. We're only in the first inning, but then again, we're only playing 7. Jake Klepash stands in for the first time. He takes a big cut and misses on the first pitch. Klepash having a big season for the Fighting Saints. .474 average. Hasn't hit for a ton of power. 23 of his 27 hits have been singles, but you're never going to complain about .474 in that batting average line. One of 2 Saints hitting better than .400 this year. He takes a strike. 0-2. Glickman's not a big strikeout pitcher. He could use one right here, though. He misses low, ball 1. On the season, less than 1 strikeout per 2 innings pitched for him. And Klepash is not a guy who strikes out a lot, just 4 times all season. Infield's back. Any contact should get a run in. Not, well, that one will do it. 1 bouncer over to second base. Sebastian Casillas fields it and throws to first to retire Klepash. The runners move up. Martinez scores from third to tie it up at 1. Montgomery advances to third base with 2 outs. Jake Klepash picks up his 13th RBI of the year. I was just about to say, just about any contact will get the run in, but not that one. It looked like he had lined it right at the second baseman. Casillas decided, rather than selling out to make the catch on the fly, he wanted to get the sure out. He backed up, played it on a hop, and as soon as it bounced, that meant a run for St. Francis. Brian Hidalgo takes ball one outside. Hidalgo, the number 5 hitter and shortstop, is batting .306 this year. He takes inside. 2-0. Good old-fashioned manufactured run for the Fighting Saints here in the first inning. A single, a bunt, and then back-to-back groundouts. The bunt resulted in a single as well. Hidalgo takes low pickoff throw down to third, and they've got Montgomery caught in a rundown. Being chased back towards third base by Estrada. He's going to keep this thing going as long as he can, and the ball is dropped by the shortstop Ogawa at home plate. Montgomery comes across and scores to make it 2-1 St. Francis. Roosevelt handled the run down pretty well, but Ogawa just couldn't hold on to it on that last throw. Montgomery didn't bowl him over, but there was contact between player and glove. So I believe that would be an error on Roosevelt unless the ruling is stolen base. Hidalgo takes a strike, 2-1. But the bottom line is St. Francis has the lead. Early offense has been critical for the Fighting Saints these last few weeks. Bouncer down the third baseline, that's foul, 2-2. They have jumped out to early leads in pretty much every game they've played. They've scored early. This is, I believe now, their 5th consecutive home game in which they've scored at least one in the first inning. And that goes beyond just their 20 and 30 run outputs. Ball high, and Hidalgo takes the walk. First walk issued this inning by Glickman, third base runner. Here's the red-hot Drew Dant. Dant's hitting .440, a .787 slugging percentage. He's got 6 homers, 31 RBIs, both team highs. 3 of those home runs came 3 days ago. He puts this one high and deep out to left field as James Berry backs up on it. Berry has room in front of the track and makes the catch to end the inning. 2 runs scored for St. Francis on a couple of hits. We'll go to the second. It's 2-1, the home team on top in a 7-inning game 1. Doubleheader action here between St. Francis and Roosevelt. Start of the second inning. 2-1. St. Francis on top. An active first inning for both sides. James Berry, the left fielder, leads things off and takes ball 1 outside. Berry, Estrada, Palucci. 6, 7, and 8 due up against Ethan Fleming. Fleming did not allow a hit in the first inning. He gave up an unearned run thanks to a walk and then a crucial 2-out error. Ball outside. 2-0 on Berry. James Berry this season is hitting .258. 14 runs batted in. He takes the ball outside. 3-0. Fighting Saints in gold today. Their home white pants on. Roosevelt in green with the gray pants. Ball 4. 4-pitch walk. Second one of those issued. Second walk, that is. They weren't both on 4 pitches. But Barry is aboard. This season, Fleming has had a big problem giving up hits, 40 of them. 16 2/3 innings pitched. Walks had not been a problem at all prior to today. Only 4 issued all year prior to this game, but he's put 2 of the first 6 batters of the game on for free. And now Sammy Estrada will try to get this runner over. Estrada drops it down right in front of the plate, picked up by the catcher Murta, who throws over to first and gets the out. Barry advances to second base on the play. Estrada succeeds in getting the runner over. 1 out now for Palucci. Estrada wasted no time. Got it down on the first pitch. Here's Luke Palucci. First pitch from Fleming misses low and in. 1-0. Palucci's hitting .389 this year. 1 homer, 4 RBIs. This is just his 6th start of the season. He fouls the next pitch back. Strike 1. The count is even. I've often wondered about these Roosevelt colors. I should look into it. I'm sure somebody's got this information somewhere, but they're located in downtown Chicago. 1-1 is swung on and missed. The name like Lakers, you could go with the obvious color of blue as your team's primary. They went green, which I'm wondering if it's because of the lake that they're located by. They're not just the Lakers specifically. They play right next to Lake Michigan. I don't know, Lake Michigan's pretty blue, though. It's the Chicago River, which they're also located very nearby, that's got more of a green tint to it. I don't know, maybe they just felt like green was an underrepresented color. I'll explore the history further on another day. I should have done my homework coming into this one. 1-2 on Palucci, runner at second base, 1 out in the top of the second inning. Sebastian Casillas is on deck. And Palucci is hit in the arm. He will stay in the batter's box. He's not being granted first base. 2-2 count on Palucci. Didn't really make much of an effort to get out of the way of that. And then the impression of the home plate umpire, he didn't make any effort whatsoever. So as a result, he'll stay in the batter's box. 2-ball, 2-strike count. Jason Becker, the Roosevelt head coach, walks out of the dugout with a confused look on his face. And now they're calling it a strike. So the umpires were talking it over. If you're Jason Becker, you're probably assuming the discussion is, should he be given first base or not? But no, apparently there was no conversation about that. It was, should we call that a ball or a strike? And they're calling it a strike. So the ruling on the ball would have been he just didn't make an effort to get out of the way. The ruling on strike says he actually leaned over the plate into that pitch. And so he goes down, officially looking for a strikeout of the game for Fleming. 2 outs in the inning. And it brings up Sebastian Casillas, the last hope to get this run in from second base. Ball 1 up and away. I always have a hard time with those. One of the many reasons I don't think I could be an umpire. My reflexes are so slow that it might look like I'm not moving out of the way, when in fact I'm trying desperately to avoid that ball hitting me. Fouled away by Casillas, 1-1. Fleming is not a hard thrower. A lot of times when you see soft tossers, hitters will make more of an effort, maybe not more of an effort to get hit, but certainly less of an effort to get out of the way. Swing and a miss, 1-2. From up here, it certainly appeared that Palucci did not put any effort into getting out of the way of the pitch. They did call it a strike, though. Rather than just stay here, it's get out of here. Ball outside. And again, the The difference would be if he just doesn't move and allows himself to get hit, that would have been a 2-2 count. But because it had already been 1-2, because he leaned into that pitch in the estimation of the two umpires after the conversation, it does go as a strike. And because it was the third strike, he had to sit down. Such are the rules of baseball. Casillas outside, ball 3. It's one of those obscure ones. 3 strikes and you're out. If Casillas reaches base, JoJo Mack will bat for a second time. Roosevelt still doesn't have a hit. They do have a run, and they can get another one with a base hit here. Full count pitch to Casillas. Fouled straight back. Mack's a hitter that you don't want to face with multiple guys on. So this is a big pitch coming up from Fleming. Sebastian Casillas, a .328 hitter. Swings and grounds it weakly to the left side. Hidalgo gloves it and can't make a throw. With an infield hit for Sebastian Casillas, the first of the game for Roosevelt. So they get their first hit, and it travels all of about 100 feet. But Casillas runs well. Hidalgo's vision was impaired a little bit because Barry was chugging between second and third base on the play. He jumped over that ball. No interference, certainly, but he was in the line of sight of Hidalgo, which makes it a little bit more difficult as a play by the time Hidalgo was able to gather it cleanly. It was too late to throw to first base, so he wisely just held on to it. Didn't allow Barry to head for home as JoJo Mack steps in and takes ball 1 high. Mack is 0 for 1. He began the ball game with a fly out to right field. He takes inside here, 2-0. Oh, that one hit him. So apparently that grazed his elbow, and he gets first base. Second batter that Fleming has hit this inning. It's the first one who's been given his base, but Fleming has been a little bit wild throughout this first couple of innings, starting with his 2 walks. Bases are loaded now. Barry's at third, Casillas is at second, Mack is at first, and Bryce Heyman will try to get a couple of runs in here and reclaim the lead. Heyman swings the first pitch and fouls it back off the screen. Bryce Heyman scored the first run of the game. He walked in the first inning. Still stood at first base with 2 outs when Luis Delgado reached on an error. Heyman chugged all the way home from first base. Fouled back again. He's behind in the count, 0-2. So good job by Fleming to get ahead of Roosevelt's number 2 hitter. But now he's got to put him away. Righty versus lefty, the 0-2. Lined up the middle, that's a base hit. Barry is in to score. Casillas will do the same. Mack advances to second base and stops there. It's a 2-run base hit for Bryce Heyman, who's been involved in all 3 of Roosevelt's runs today. And our score is 3-2. Not surprisingly, every half inning has resulted in runs scoring. And we've got the looks of another shootout here. Kakoa Ogawa steps in for the second time. He's 0 for 1 with a pop out. Ogawa takes the strike. It's our first RBI hit of the day, 5 runs in. None of the first 3 runs scored on RBI hits. Only one of them was an RBI. Ball outside, 1-1. That was the first run for St. Francis when a ground out brought home a run. But the other 2 runs that had been scored, one was on an error and one was on a stolen base. The 1-1 to Ogawa is taken up and in, 2-1. Fleming pitched out of the bullpen in the win over St. Xavier on Tuesday. This is his first start of the week, but his second appearance. Still trying to put things together. 2-1. Over for a strike, 2-2, and for the second time, actually the third time now, he's 1 strike away from getting out of the inning. 3 straight 2-out base runners for Roosevelt. 2 of them, at one point or another, saw 2 strike counts. Fleming to Ogawa. A looping liner to the right side, and Martinez is right there. Barely had to move for it. Second baseman makes the catch and ends the inning. 2 more runs score for Roosevelt on a couple of hits, a walk, a hit by pitch. 2 are left on. Back and forth early in this game. We go to the bottom of the second, 3-2 Lakers. Bottom of the second inning for the second time today. The Saints come to bat trailing by a run. They scored 2 runs in the bottom of the first to take the lead for themselves. We'll see if they can do it again here. Bottom of the order due up against Jake Glickman, whose first pitch is taken for strike 1 by John McGuire, the DH. McGuire's hitting .306, 2 homers, 9 runs batted in this year. He takes outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Fouled away. It's 1-2. Cliff Vickers is on deck. Then it's Jake Murda. First 2 batters last inning for the Saints got hits. Neither of them was a hard hit ball. One a seeing eye single, the other a bunt hit. But overall, Glickman did not pitch poorly in the first inning despite allowing the 2 runs. Fouled away, it's still 1-2. He did walk Brian Hidalgo. That was a mistake on him. But other than that, wasn't hit hard, wasn't too wild. Fouled away, still 1-2. The walk was really the only time he fell behind a hitter that whole inning. He put Brian Hidalgo on base. He's ahead of McGuire, but McGuire's making him work. This will be the 6th pitch of the at-bat. And it's in the dirt. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Good at bat so far for McGuire. We'll see if the Saints can get the leadoff man on for the 2nd straight inning. Check swing. He did not go around. Pitch was low and out of the zone. So after getting ahead of McGuire early in the at-bat, it's now worked back to 3-2. 8th pitch of the sequence coming up. McGuire trying to coax his way on. He swings and shoots it into center field. That drops down for a base hit in front of Bryce Heyman. And McGuire is aboard to lead off the 2nd inning. Solid stroke to that single, and that's the first one of those today. A first line drive hit by a Fighting Saint. McGuire's aboard. Vickers is in the box. Cliff Vickers is a .303 hitter with a homer and 11 RBIs. He bunts it back behind home plate. Strike 1. It's been an offensive ball game so far. It's really been a very offensive season for St. Francis. In 22 games, they've scored 151 runs already. Allowed a whopping 226 as that one is lined out into the right field corner. Cliff Vickers has an extra base hit. John McGuire is being held at third base. Nice job out and right by Luke Palucci to get the ball back in the infield, but it gets away from the cutoff man. And so McGuire races home with the 3rd run of the game for St. Francis. He was held up at third base. They were not going to send him. But right as I was in the middle of praising the Lakers for getting the ball back to the infield so quickly, they lost the ball. It rolled into no man's land in the middle of the infield. And so McGuire raced home. It's a double for Cliff Vickers, no RBI. And Jake Murda is the batter. Runner at second base, nobody out. Murda takes strike one. Top of the order to follow. Glickman's next pitch. Grounded through the hole on the right side. That's a base hit. Vickers stops at third base, and this time they hit the cutoff man cleanly. So they're at the corners. Still nobody out. 3 straight hits open up this inning. Got a courtesy runner at first base. It's Malachi Riley doing the sprinting for Jake Murda. Back to the top of the order, and Alex Martinez. We are going back and forth in this game. The Saints can score once more here, and they're in good shape to do so as Martinez grounds it over to the shortstop. Delgado to second for one. The relay throw is in time. The run does score, though. It's a double play, and Roosevelt will take it as they clear the bases with 2 outs, but St. Francis will take it as well as they are back in front, 4-3 the score. Once again, no RBI on the play. But Vickers crosses home plate. Riley and Martinez both retired. Here's Max Montgomery. 1 for 1 with a bunt single. That is popped up right side, shallow outfield. Casillas backs up, makes the catch, and ends the inning. An abrupt end to that inning. First 3 batters all got base hits. It looked like the Saints were settling in for a long stay at the plate, and then 2 pitches later, the inning was over. But they do get 2 more runs, and as we head to the third, our score is St. Francis 4, Roosevelt 3. Top of the third inning, St. Francis 4, Roosevelt 3. A lot going on in this game so far as the Lakers bring up the middle of their order. Delgado, Kiefer, and Barry each to face Fleming for the second time. Delgado reached on an error his first time up, brought home a run. This time he slugs it down the left field line. That is a fair ball on the foul line. Delgado thought it was foul. He stopped running, but it's not going to prevent him from getting into second base. He makes it in standing up. It's a leadoff double on the first pitch of the third inning. There have been a lot of early swings leading to hits so far in this game, so that's part of the reason that we've moved along at a decent clip here. We're under 40 minutes in, and we're in the third inning, so it's not as though this game is dragging, but it feels like we've been here for a couple of hours already just because so much has happened. That was the 8th combined hit. That's a fly ball into right center field. Klepash comes over on it. The right fielder makes the catch. Delgado stays put. Kiefer is retired. 1 down. Another early swing. We've seen 8 combined hits. A hit by pitch. 3 walks combined between the two teams. Base runners galore early. We've already had 3 lead changes in the game. In 2 innings, 3 lead changes. There's been at least 1 run in every half inning. And every half inning except for the top of the first, the leadoff man has been on base. So there's always base runners as Barry flies it into left center. Long run back for Montgomery, and it's over his head. This is going to tie the score as Delgado comes around third base and across the plate. James Barry has an RBI double. It's 4-4. We're only 3 pitches into this inning. There have already been 2 doubles and a flyout. Another RBI hit for Roosevelt. A lot of the runs that have scored today have come in other manners, but that one pretty straightforward. 2 doubles, that'll get you a run. James Barry has his 15th run knocked in this year. He stands at second with 1 down. The catcher, Sammy Estrada, stands in. He swings at the first pitch, flies it into center field. Cliff Vickers over to make the grab. Barry tags from second base. The throw to third is not in time. Barry moves up 90 feet. 2 outs in the inning. Luke Palucci will try to get him in. Barry made it into third with relative ease there. It was not a deep fly ball, but Vickers made the catch going towards right center. So his momentum was carrying him away from the throw. Barry read that and took off immediately. Good base running. Palucci shoots it down the third base line. That's a foul ball. Strike 1. Second close call of the inning. Delgado swung at the first pitch of the frame. Knocked it down the left field line. Was very close, but apparently landed right on the line. First pitch swing, Palucci lines it out to left. Again, very close, but apparently just wide of the line. The Lakers have swung at every pitch this inning. That was the first one that wasn't put in play. 2 doubles, 2 flyouts. 0-1 on Luke Palucci. He takes the ball, 1-1. Palucci struck out looking his first time up. Not just looking, but leaning. The pitch actually hit him. But after the umpires discussed it, they agreed he had leaned into it and was called out on strikes. And now he's hit by a pitch, and there's no controversy about this one. He'll head down to first base. That got him flush on the left side. So he takes first base. Second batter that Fleming has hit today. Fleming entering today's game had only 4 walks and 1 hit batter in 9 appearances. Today he's walked 2 and hit 2. He's only 2 2/3 innings into the game. Here's Sebastian Casillas, the number 9 hitter. Casillas swings at the first pitch. He misses, strike 1. Sebastian Casillas reached on an infield single in the second inning. He's 1 for 1. He eventually came around to score. We're tied at 4. Roosevelt has a man on third base. If he scores, it'll already be our 4th lead change. Like a basketball game, the way these two teams have gone back and forth. The 0-1 is fouled off to the left side, out of play. Fleming is 1 strike away from getting out of the inning. Just 1 strikeout so far for Ethan Fleming. And that did come on the aforementioned hit by pitch for Palucci last inning. 0-2 now as Fleming checks over his left shoulder at the runner at first. There's a high fly, shallow center field. Vickers comes in, and Vickers makes the catch. Side is retired. 1 run scores on 2 hits, but Roosevelt leaves the go-ahead run at third base. They strand 2. On to the bottom of the third. Will we see another half inning with offensive explosion? It's 4-4 already. Bottom of the third, 4-4. Roosevelt has the lead. But in a game in which every team has scored in each half inning, the Lakers missed a big opportunity, stranding 2 men in the top of the inning. We'll see if the Saints can take advantage with their 3, 4, and 5 men due up. Starting with Nate Maliska. Maliska takes ball 1 outside. I know I've spent a lot of time talking about the ample amounts of offense in this game. As Maliska takes a ball outside, 2-0. Maliska's 0 for 1 with a ground out. Advanced the runners back in the first inning. It was a productive out. Jake Glickman, the starter, doing the pitching for Roosevelt. Maliska golfs this one into shallow left field. Charging in is James Berry towards the line. Berry makes the catch on the move for out number 1. What I was saying was I've spent a lot of time talking about the offense in this game, despite the fact that the last time they played, St. Francis was involved in a game in which 44 runs were scored. In the game before that, they had a comparative pitchers duel where only 25 runs were scored. So 8 runs being on the board by the third inning really isn't all that impressive. Strike 1 called on Jake Klepash. 0 for 1 with an RBI ground out. Nobody's been slugging the ball out of the park. No home runs. But we've had so many base runners. Grounder to the right side. A diving play by Jack Kiefer. The first baseman throws from his knees over to first and gets Klepash 2 down. Very impressive play by Jack Kiefer. And now we've got a chance at our first 1-2-3 inning, our first scoreless inning of the game, if Glickman can retire Hidalgo. Hidalgo walked his first time up. The only one of those issued by Glickman so far today. This time he swings the first pitch and fouls it back for strike 1. You know, I started to say earlier before I was interrupted by about 9 straight hitters swinging at the first pitch. It's been that kind of game too. When you've got guys throwing strikes, hitters will be aggressive, and they have been. Hidalgo takes ball 1. I think that sometimes has hurt Ethan Fleming. His strikes have been too hittable, and when he starts to nibble, he can't find the zone, which is why he's got 4 free passes issued as Hidalgo takes a ball and is ahead in the count now 2-1. But I was going over St. Francis's numbers. They score about 7 runs a game. They allow about 10 runs per game. That ball is smoked into left field, but right at James Berry. Probably the hardest hit ball of the day for the Fighting Saints, but it's an easy catch for Berry, and the inning comes to a close. Our first 0 on the scoreboard today. We'll go to the 4th, tied up 4-4. Top 4, Roosevelt can reclaim the lead here as they have scored in every inning so far. Saints left the door open with a 0 in the bottom of the third. They were set down 1-2-3 by Glickman. Fleming will try to put together some facsimile of that as his first pitch is grounded up the middle by JoJo Mack into center field. And the leadoff man reaches once again for the Lakers. It's happened in 3 straight frames. Mack has his first hit of the day. The aggressiveness continues for Roosevelt. They have been swinging at pretty much every first pitch. with quite a bit of success. Here's Bryce Heyman. He's had a big game so far. 1 for 1 with a single, a walk, a run, and 2 RBIs. With the runner on the move, Heyman swings at the first pitch and fouls it away. Strike one. Didn't look like a hit and run, so it was just another very aggressive Roosevelt batter. And that time maybe Heyman would have been better served to show a little patience, because I thought Mac got a pretty good jump at first. Pick-off throw in that direction. Mac is back to the bag. As I was saying last inning, Fighting Saints are very much accustomed to playing these high-scoring games. 17 runs per game are averaged when they take the field as Heyman bunts it back to the pitcher. Runner advances. Fleming throws over to first in time. 1-3 on the putout. Mack into scoring position on the Heyman sacrifice, and Ogawa will try to get the go-ahead run in. Kikoa Ogawa is 0 for 2. He's popped out once and softly lined out a second time. He swings at the first pitch. What else is new? Lifted out into center field. Vickers steps in and makes the grab. Runner at second base tags, but Mack will not advance. Nice work by Fleming, getting back-to-back outs there. Fly out for Ogawa, 2 down. Fleming threw a grand total of 10 pitches in the third inning, despite allowing 3 base runners and 1 run to score. So far this inning, he's thrown just 4 pitches. He's gotten a completion of 3 at-bats already. They've swung at every pitch. If you count a bunt as a swing. They've offered at every pitch, let's say that. Delgado breaks the trend and takes strike one over the outside corner, and it's not in any way a criticism. If Fleming's leaving it over the plate, then there's no reason not to jump on him early, especially when you've got 6 hits in the contest. Well, they've got 5 hits, but same idea. Strike called on Delgado, nothing in 2. Delgado's got 1 of them. Leadoff double in the third. He's 1 for 2. Trying to bring the go-ahead run in from second. 2 outs. He swings and fouls it back. Still 0-2. Fleming checks the runner at second. Now to the plate. Swing and a miss. It's in the dirt and apparently caught by the catcher Jake Murda. No throw down to first necessary. Second strike out of the ballgame for Fleming. He pitches around the leadoff single, and the Lakers leave a man at second base. Zeros on the scoreboard now on both sides. St. Francis will try to reclaim the lead. Going to the bottom of the 4th. Tied at 4. Drew Dance leads off the 4th inning for St. Francis. Tie game 4-4. Jake Glickman has settled in nicely the last few innings for Roosevelt. After struggling early on, he starts off Dant with a ball downstairs, 1-0. First time through the batting order. 6 men reached base for St. Francis. Second time through so far, he's retired all 5. Misses downstairs on Dant, though, 2-0. Drew Dant, top hitter on the team this year, 0 for 1 with a flyout. He takes a ball outside, 3-0. Glickman has issued one walk in this game, none since the first inning. There's a chopper to the shortstop. Dant getting the 3-0 green light, but he grounds it 6-3 as Delgado throws him out by a step. 6 straight retired by Glickman. Identical line scores right now of 4 runs, 5 hits, 1 error for both teams. Pitchers are starting to settle in. Fleming had his best inning of the game in the top of the 4th. Pitched around a leadoff single, retiring the next 3 batters consecutively. McGuire takes ball 1 low. And of course, Glickman's going through this great stretch of 6 straight retired. 7 outs during that stretch as well. He got a double play. McGuire bloops it into shallow right field, and that's where the run ends for Glickman. McGuire turned on the Jets, thought about second, but stopped about 35 feet between the 2 bases and ran back to first. Luke Palucci was able to corral it after Sebastian Casillas initially had some trouble in shallow right. It's a base hit for McGuire, his second of the game. It ends the run of 6 straight set down and puts the go-ahead run in scoring position. That's notable, especially as we get later into the game. The pace of this one picked up so quickly that we got to the bottom of the 4th in a hurry. Line drive in right field. Palucci is there to make the catch to retire Cliff Vickers, who hit it on the screws, but a little bit unlucky with where he hit that ball. It's the second time we've seen that happen the last 2 innings. Brian Hidalgo crushed a ball into left field last inning, but it was right at James Berry. This time Vickers lines out to Palucci. And Jake Murda bats with 2 outs and 1 on. It's just a 7-inning game, the opener of this doubleheader. So we're past the halfway point. Starting to get into the late innings as Murda shoots it up the middle. A base hit for him. Second knock of the inning for St. Francis. McGuire advances to second base. 2 on with 2 out. And the top of the order will have a chance to put the Saints in front. Malachi Riley steps out to run at first base for Murda, as is his wont. Jake Murda has 2 hits in the game now. He's got his average up to 300 with that base hit. And Martinez stands in for the 3rd time today, taking strike 1. Alex Martinez is 1 for 2 with a single and a run scored. Single here likely would give the Fighting Saints their 3rd lead of the game. The 0-1. And the dirt, good block by Sammy Estrada. 1 ball, 1 strike. That clips the inside corner at the knees. 1-2. And Glickman is 1 strike away from getting out of the inning. He does not have a strikeout yet today. Doesn't need one here with 2 outs. He'll take any out he can to keep this game tied heading into the 5th. It's Riley at first, McGuire at second. The 1-2 pitch. Martinez grounds it right to the 3rd baseman. Ogawa grabs it and steps on his own base. The 5 unassisted fielder's choice puts an end to the bottom of the 4th. All of a sudden, it's turned into a pitcher's duel. We'll head to the 5th, still tied 4-4. Anybody's ball game as we move into the top of the 5th inning. 4-4. Kiefer, Berry, and Estrada due up for the Lakers. Jack Kiefer swings the first pitch, hits it out to deep center field, but playable. Cliff Vickers backs up, puts the squeeze on it, 1 away. First time the Lakers' leadoff man has been retired since back in the 1st inning. It is the 3rd straight frame, though, in which the leadoff man has put the ball in play on the first pitch. As long as he's getting outs with it, Fleming loves it. Let him swing at every first pitch. He threw only 18 pitches total between the 3rd and 4th innings. Allowed 4 base runners between those 2 innings, and still only 18 combined pitches. He misses outside for ball 1 on James Berry. Berry's been the toughest out of the game so far, the only man not to have been retired. He has walked, doubled, scored a run, and driven 1 in. So he takes a strike, 1-1. Roosevelt has had 10 total base runners today. That ball is popped up behind 3rd base. Drew Dant, Brian Hidalgo chase it back into foul territory. Hidalgo gets to the spot and makes the catch. 2 away. They've had 5 hits, 2 walks, 2 hit by pitches. 1 man reached on an error. They've scored the 4 runs, which is certainly a fine total through 4 innings. 4 2/3, I guess now, but they've also left 6 on base. So they've had their chances to pull away a little bit, and they have not been able to come up with the big knock against Fleming, who's looking for his first 1-2-3 inning of the game. Sammy Estrada takes ball 1 inside. St. Francis has out-hit Roosevelt 7-5. They haven't gotten the same generosity with walks, though. So they haven't had quite as many base runners. Ball 2 on Estrada. Sammy Estrada dropped down a sacrifice bunt his first time up. Flew out to center field his second time to the plate, so he's 0 for 1 officially. But he has not reached base. One of only 2, or make that 3 Lakers who could say that today. He's 1 ball away from doing that now. 3-0 the count. Fleming sets for the next pitch. Called strike 1. Hard liner, left side, and out of the reach of the shortstop, Brian Hidalgo. That's a base hit for Estrada, so scratch his name off the list of players who have not reached base. A 2-out single keeps the inning alive. Gives Roosevelt the chance to take the lead back as Sammy Estrada, the catcher, heads back to the dugout. He's replaced by Aiden Brushaber at first base. Brushaber is the courtesy runner. And Luke Palucci is the batter who's got a chance to give his team the lead.
Right fielder, number 45, Palucci.
Palucci struck out in the second. He was hit by a pitch in the third. Technically, he was hit by a pitch in the second, too. But he leaned into it, so that was the pitch he struck out on. Two outs. Brushaber is the man at first base, representing the go-ahead run. Soft liner in right field. That's going to find some green space. It's a base hit for Luke Palucci. Brushaber stops at second. Back-to-back two-out hits for the Lakers. They've got something brewing now in the top of the fifth inning with the number 9 hitter, Sebastian Casillas, coming up. Casillas came up in the third inning with runners at the corners and 2 outs. The score was 4-4 then, but at the time we were only in the third inning, and both teams were scoring pretty much at will, so it didn't seem like quite as big a moment as this one now with 2 runners on base. The score's still 4-4. Casillas takes ball 1 outside. Now we're into the late innings, and both pitchers have settled down, so the runs are coming at a little bit more of a premium. There's a fly ball into right center field, and that finds some space. Vickers cuts it off on 1 hop, but Brushaber is able to score. Palucci heads to third base on a 2-out double for Sebastian Casillas. Put Roosevelt back in the lead. 3 straight 2-out hits, singles for Estrada and Palucci. And now a double for Casillas, his second hit of the game. His 7th RBI this year. It's 5-4. Roosevelt has the lead for the 3rd time today. They were up 1-0, 3-2, and now it's 5-4. They have not had a multi-run lead, but JoJo Mack hits with runners at second and third. He fouls back the first pitch, strike one. Mack has been on base twice. He's been hit by a pitch and singled. Officially 1 for 2. Pickoff throw back to second. The throw was high, but Martinez was able to pull it down. Casillas is safe at the bag. One run is in this inning. There's a pop-up, shallow right field. Tough play for a backpedaling Martinez, but he's able to make it. Ball just wasn't hit very high into the air, so if Martinez didn't locate it immediately, he was going to have a really difficult time to make that play. But he was able to find it, got back to the spot he needed to, and he made the grab to end the run of 3 straight 2-out hits for Roosevelt. They leave 2 men in scoring position. They settle for 1 run, but they do take the lead as we go to the bottom of the 5th. 5-4, Lakers. Max Montgomery leads off the bottom of the 5th for the Fighting Saints, who are suddenly in serious need of some runs. They trail 5-4. Montgomery takes strike 1. So it's not desperate times for sure. They've got 9 outs to play with, trailing by just 1. But their offense has gone cold after a hot start. 1-1 count on Montgomery. They scored 2 runs in each of the first 2 innings, but have had just 2 base runners since then. A couple of singles. Breaking ball from Glickman over the inside corner. It's 1-2 on Montgomery. Montgomery is 1 for 2 today with a bunt single. He takes low here to even the count. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Good old-fashioned manufactured run. In the first inning, Montgomery reached on a bunt single, advanced to second on a ground out, to third on another ground out, and then he stole home. A run straight out of 1912. There's a fly ball into right center field. Palucci is able to fill the gap and make the catch. 1 away. 1 out, nobody on. Here's Nate Meliska. Meliska has not reached base yet today. He did have that important ground out back in the first inning that advanced both runners into scoring position, but he is 0 for 2. He's flown out to go along with his ground out, and he takes a ball here. First time through the batting order. Fighting Saints went 5 for 8 with a walk. Meliska fouls it away, 1-1. They scored 4 runs. Second time through the order, they went 2 for 9 and did not score a run. Ground ball back to the pitcher. It's off the glove of Glickman. He tracks it down, throws to first, and it's in time to get Meliska 2 away. It was not a hard hit ball by the Saints first baseman. Glickman was a little bit slow to get down on it, was not able to field it cleanly. But because it wasn't hit very hard, it didn't roll all that far away from him on the deflection. Also because it wasn't hit that hard, he had to hurry to chase the ball down before Meliska could get to first base. Beat him by about a half a step. Here's Jake Klepash swinging at the first pitch. He grounds it to second base. Casillas tosses to first, and it's another 1-2-3 inning for Glickman. He has looked awfully sharp these last few frames. And now 6 outs away from a victory as his Lakers lead 5-4 heading into the 6th.
Center fielder number 6, Bryce Heyman.
Bryce Heyman, Kakoa Ogawa, and Luis Delgado are due up for the Roosevelt Lakers in the top of the 6th inning, trying to add some insurance to a 5-4 lead. Ethan Fleming, the St. Francis starter, still on the mound, and his first pitch is a strike on Heyman. Bryce Heyman's had a productive day at the plate, a 2-run single, a walk and a run, and a sacrifice bunt. Those are the results of his 3 trips to the plate as he takes a ball in 1-1. Roosevelt has put a steady stream of base runners on against Fleming today. Ball high, 2-1. Fleming's been able to buckle down, though, in key moments. He is trailing 5-4. It could be worse, though. Lakers have stranded 8 base runners through 5 innings. Called strike, 2-2. 6 of those 8 runners left on have been in scoring position. Ball outside, 3-2. That includes last inning when they had him at second and third when Fleming got JoJo Mack to pop out to second base to end that. Full count pitch, swung on and popped up. Shallow left. Hidalgo backs up. Montgomery comes in. It is Hidalgo making the catch. Leadoff batter pops out to the shortstop. 1 away in the 6th inning.
Third baseman number 2.
And Kakoa Ogawa will bat for the 4th time. The number 3 hitter in Jason Becker's lineup. Ogawa came into today with a .375 batting average. Team bests of 5 homers, 22 RBIs. He's hitless in this game, though, 0 for 3. He takes ball 1, low and outside. Been a tough day for Ogawa. He also had a costly defensive play when he dropped the ball, allowing Max Montgomery to slide across home on the steal. Ball outside, 2-0. Action down the right field line in St. Francis's bullpen. Been a consistent day for Fleming. There's a fly ball into right center. Vickers and Klepash make their moves. It's Klepash in right field making the grab, 2 away. Fleming has allowed at least one base runner in every inning. He's allowed at least one run in all but one inning.
Shortstop, number 29, Luis
But he's been able to,
Delgado.
for the most part, pitch out of trouble. He's only allowed the Lakers to score more than one run in an inning one time. That was their 2-run second. Luis Delgado takes the ball outside, 1-0. Fleming has cleaned up his command a little bit, although a big part of that, I think, is Roosevelt's just gotten a lot more aggressive. You're not going to draw too many walks if you're swinging at the first pitch every time, not going deep into at-bats. There's a line drive at left field and a base hit for Delgado, his second of the game. And once again, Fleming is denied a perfect inning. But I was going to say that was the one shift in his performance. He issued a walk in each of the first 2 innings and a hit by pitch in 2 of the first 3 innings. And he hasn't had a free base runner against him over the last 3. Jack Kiefer is the batter, 0 for 3 in this game with a ground out, a couple of flyouts, and before he bats, it'll be a mound visit with 2 outs and a runner at first here in the top of the 6th inning. So as far as Fleming is concerned, this has not been a bad outing at all. He's kept his team in the game. He entered play today with an 18.38 ERA, so unless something crazy happens over these last 2 innings, that's going to go way down. Hasn't had a huge day by any means, just 2 strikeouts. He's allowed 9 hits, 13 total base runners through 5 2/3 innings, but most importantly, it's just a 1-run game. He has not allowed the Lakers at any point to have a multi-run lead. Looks like before Kiefer steps in, Delgado will leave. We're going to get a pinch runner over at first base. So Delgado may re-enter the game to play shortstop next inning. We'll see. All we know for now is that it's going to be Isaac Sanchez running at first with 2 outs. Kiefer is the batter. Hero of their last game on Monday against Olivet Nazarene. He had the walk-off double in the bottom of the 10th inning. He takes ball 1 high. Kiefer, the St. Xavier transfer, hasn't had a hit today, but he did make an impact defensively. Had a big grab on a dive earlier. He takes upstairs 2-0. Runner at first is Sanchez. Fleming checks on him. He dives back to the bag safely. Five runs, 9 hits, 1 error for the Lakers. 4-7-1 for the Saints. 2-2 pitch finds the inner edge. 2-0 pitch makes it 2 balls and 1 strike. Last inning, Fleming retired the first 2 batters. The next 3 all picked up hits, resulting in a run. Kiefer fouls it away, 2-2. This inning, Fleming retired the first 2 batters of the inning. The next man up got a hit, and now the Lakers are trying to make it 2 in a row. But Fleming has pulled to within 1 strike of ending the inning. James Barry's on deck just in case. 2-2. Low and outside, full count. So that'll allow the runner to get a head start from first base. He didn't really need it. Ball 4 outside. Third walk issued today by Fleming. Another man in scoring position for Roosevelt, but again, they've had trouble hitting with men on base. Yes, they've got 5 runs through 5 innings, but that's their 15th base runner of the game. So they do not want to go back to the dugout or back out into the field for the bottom of the 6th inning, nursing just a 1-run lead. If they do score again, it won't be against Ethan Fleming. The run would count to him, but he won't be in the game. We're going to get a pitching change here with 2 outs and 2 on in the top of the 6th inning. I'll tell you about the new pitcher in just a moment. 5-4, Roosevelt leads. 2 on, 2 out, top of the 6th. Roosevelt already leads by a run, threatening to make it more than that with a new pitcher coming on. Zach Blazekovich making his 11th appearance. No record, an 8.03 ERA, and he faces James Berry, who is 1 for 2 with a double and a walk. Berry swings to the first pitch, pops it foul left side and out of play, strike 1. In 12 1/3 innings this year, Blazekovich has allowed 16 runs, 11 of them earned on 25 hits and 2 walks. He has struck out 6. Opponents have a .410 batting average against him this season. He inherits a tough situation from Ethan Fleming, who went 5 2/3. Line drive in right field. That's a hit for Berry. Sanchez around third base. He'll score without a play. Heading to third safely is Kiefer. Third straight 2-out base runner for Roosevelt. Their lead is 6-4. And for the second consecutive inning, they've put together 3 straight base runners with 2 gone. 2-out hitting has been the key to the day for them today. 5 of their 6 runs have come with 2 outs. Second RBI of the game for Berry. Here's Sammy Estrada. Estrada takes ball 1 up and in. Charge that run to Fleming. 5 2/3 innings, 6 runs, 5 of them have been earned. The man at third is his responsibility as well. And he's going to score. Line drive into left field for Estrada. That's his second base hit of the ball game. This one an RBI. And Roosevelt's got their biggest lead of the day at 3 runs. Sammy Estrada drives 1 in, his 10th RBI of the year. Talked earlier this inning about how clutch hitting has been a bit of an issue for Roosevelt in this one. They've had a ton of base runners. They've left a lot of men on. Well, this inning, they've been able to make up for that. Still 2 men on base, so they could add more to their lead, but already 2 runs have crossed the plate. First pitch strike to Luke Palucci. 1 for 2. He's also been hit by a pitch. 11 hits now for the Lakers. 16, make that 17 total base runners. Bounced foul, strike 2. Blazekovich is 1 strike away from ending the inning. His 0-2 offering to the number 8 batter, Palucci. Ripped down the left field line. That's a fair ball. All the way into the corner. This will score some more. James Berry crosses home plate. Here comes Brushaber, and he makes it in standing up. It's a 2-run double for Palucci, and the Lakers are running away. It's 9-4. Third time today that Palucci has reached base. He's got 6 RBIs on the season, and it's a 4-run 6th inning for Roosevelt. There were 2 outs this inning with nobody on, and 5 consecutive men have reached base. Here's Sebastian Casillas, the 8th batter of the inning. He takes a big swing and misses. Blazekovich delivers the next one. Foul tipped in and out of the catcher's glove. Strike 2. The last 2 runs have been charged to Blazekovich. Overall, Fleming today, 7 runs allowed in 5 2/3 innings. And now Blazekovich has given up 2 without yet having recorded an out. Ball up and away, 1-2. And for Fleming, it is still going to give him a boost to the season average. His earned run average is going to come down after today's appearance, and he certainly pitched well for stretches. Too many walks certainly hurt him as that's bounced down the first base line, just inside the line as it bounced over the bag. It's a fair ball, and it's played by Nate Maliska, who carries it to the bag to end the inning. 5 straight men reached base with 2 outs, led to 4 runs for Roosevelt. And they've created some good separation as we head to the bottom of the sixth. 9-4 Lakers. Bottom of the sixth inning, Saints really have their work cut out for them now. Roosevelt has scored 5 unanswered runs. Actually, 6 unanswered runs going back to the third inning as Brian Hidalgo drops a bunt down the third base line. Played nicely by Ogawa, and he gets his man. Good play by the third baseman for the first out of the inning. I would imagine that the Lakers weren't really expecting Hidalgo to drop down a bunt right there. But they need base runners. Hidalgo was trying to find one any way he could. And Ogawa was not caught back. He was not caught flat-footed. He charged that ball and made a perfect play for the first out of the inning. Drew Dant takes strike one. Dant is 0 for 2 in this game. He takes the ball, 1-1. He's had a hit in 9 in a row. This might be his last chance to extend that. Hitting .440 on the season coming in. 1-1 pitch. Launched into right center field. That will extend that hit streak as it splits the gap. Dant will have extra bases. He's got second base easily, a double. First extra base hit for the Fighting Saints since the second inning. It's their second extra base hit of the game. And Dant is aboard in front of McGuire. Ends a run of 5 straight retired by Jake Glickman, who's been excellent after a shaky start. McGuire's 2 for 2 with a run scored. He checks his swing, taps it in front of the plate. Estrada bobbles, throws to first in time. Dant advances to third base on the play. 1 out, or 2 outs rather. McGuire now 2 for 3. The batter's Cliff Vickers. Vickers is 1 for 2 with a double and a run. The other man with that double was Drew Dant, who's at third base right now. Vickers takes strike one. Saints are just 3 of 16 at the plate since starting 5 for 8. Ball 1, the count evens on Vickers. If he reaches, Murta bats next. If he reaches on a hit, he'll get the Saints back on the board. 2-1 count. First couple of innings saw 3 lead changes. Saints trailed 1-0. They came back, took a 2-1 lead. Trailed 3-2, came back and led 4-3. But it's been all Roosevelt since then as Vickers flies it into shallow right center. Coming in is Palucci. He makes the catch and ends the inning. Despite the 1-out double, Drew Dant is stranded at third base. The Saints don't score. 1 inning to play in game 1 of today's doubleheader. 9-4, Roosevelt on top. Top of the order for Roosevelt in the top of the 7th inning as they go. One last chance to add some insurance. They've added some big insurance already, though, with 4 runs in the 6th inning. JoJo Mack swings at the first pitch of the 7th, hits it high in the air out to left. Max Montgomery takes a few steps over and makes the grab. 1 up, 1 down in the 7th inning. Zach Blazekowicz still out there for St. Francis. He came in as a reliever in the 6th. Came in with a 1-run lead, or 1-run deficit rather. 2 men on base and 2 outs. He could not get that 3rd out. Not quickly anyways. He allowed 3 straight hits, 4 runs scored. Now he gets his first clean inning of the game as he faces Bryce Heyman, who takes strike 1. Heyman's 1 for 2 with a 2-run single, a walk and a run. Over the inside corner, 0-2. 9 runs on 12 hits for Roosevelt. 4 runs, 8 hits St. Francis. Both teams have committed 1 error. Both of those errors have led to 1 unearned run scoring. Check swing. He went around, according to the first base umpire. Heyman goes down swinging. 3rd strikeout of the game for Roosevelt hitters. First for Blazekowicz after Fleming got 2. Here's Kakoa Ogawa. 0 for 4. He's hit the ball in the air every time, but always right at somebody. This time it's on the ground and right at somebody. Hidalgo, the shortstop, picks it up, throws to first in the dirt, and a really nice pick by Nate Meliska puts an end to the inning. An easy 1-2-3 frame worked by Blazekowicz. Nice bounce back for him. Last chance coming up for the Saints. They trail 9-4. Nine 4 Roosevelt, bottom of the 7th inning. Jake Murda will lead things off against Jake Glickman, who's on the mound trying to finish off his 2nd complete game of the year. He has not been able to retire Murda yet. Fighting Saints catchers, 2 for 2 with a couple of singles. Murda takes strike 1. Game 2 will be 9 innings long, about a half hour after this one concludes. But this is the final inning here in Game 1 as Murda floats it into right field. Palucci puts the grab on it. It's 1 away. This is the last inning of Game 1, provided St. Francis does not mount an exciting 5-run comeback. Exactly 5-run comeback. Because if they were to score more, that would also end the game. Alex Martinez singled back in the 1st inning. Is 0 for 2 since then, with a couple of groundouts, including a double play. Here he takes the first pitch low for ball 1 from Glickman. Glickman got off to a rough start. First 9 batters went a combined 5 for 8. 6 of the 9 reached base. Called strike 1. Since then, they're just 3 of 18. So again, 6 of the first 9 batters reached base, only 3 of the next 18. Swing and a miss, 1-2. From then, it was just Glickman waiting for his offense to kick into high gear to make sure he got some support so he could get a win here. Fouled away by Martinez, still 1-2. And he got that support in the 6th inning when the Lakers came up with 5 consecutive 2-out base runners to take a very narrow lead and turn it into a big one. Another 1-2 to Martinez in the dirt. One of the most patient hitters on the team. Martinez not showing any panic with 2 strikes. Down to their final 2 outs. High pop-up, shallow right field. Palucci tracks it inwards, and Palucci makes the catch. Back-to-back flyouts to right, and Max Montgomery is St. Francis's final hope.
Left fielder number 1, Max Montgomery.
Montgomery singled and scored in the 1st inning. He's 1 for 3. Such a good offensive start. 2 runs in the 1st, 2 in the 2nd. Montgomery pops it into shallow right field. Another chance on the right side for Palucci, who slides and makes a nice catch, avoiding Sebastian Casillas. And ending this ball game as Roosevelt comes out on top by a final score of 9-4. As I was saying, a promising offensive start for the Fighting Saints, but Glickman settled in, and he was awfully good during the second half of this ball game. Zach Blazekovich pitched a 1-2-3 7th inning for St. Francis, but struggles in the previous inning cost the Saints a chance, as Roosevelt scored the game-winning run in the 5th and then piled on 4 more in the 6th to pull away to a 5-run victory. Let's go over the scoring in this game from the start. There was a lot of it early. Lakers scored 1 in the 1st on an error with 2 outs, allowing Bryce Heyman to come all the way home from first base to make it 1-0. Saints scored twice in the bottom of the inning. They got back-to-back singles to lead things off, and an RBI groundout from Jake Klepash, and Max Montgomery stole home. And with that, they had a 2-1 lead. Roosevelt jumps back in front. Our second lead change of the game. In the bottom of the second, or rather the top of the 2nd inning, Bryce Heyman came up with a 2-out, 2 RBI single. 8 of the 9 runs today for Roosevelt did score with 2 outs. Their 3-2 lead was short-lived as the Saints came back with 2 more in the bottom of the 2nd inning. John McGuire singled and scored on an error. Cliff Vickers doubled and scored later on a double play ball. That was it for the Saints, though. They led 4-3, and then their bats went cold against Jake Glickman. Roosevelt tied the score in the 3rd, getting doubles from Luis Delgado and James Berry. And then in the 5th inning, they went on top for good. They got 3 straight 2-out hits, singles for Estrada and Palucci, and a double for Sebastian Casillas. They put it away in the 6th inning, getting 5 straight 2-out base runners, including RBI singles from Berry and Estrada. Palucci had a 2-run double in that rally. The winning pitcher was the starter and the closer, and the only man who threw today for Roosevelt. Jake Glickman went the distance. He picks up his 3rd win of the year. 3-2 is his record in 7 starts. The losing pitcher, Ethan Fleming for St. Francis, falls to 1-4. Fleming went 5 2/3 innings. 7 of those runs were charged to him. 6 of them were earned. The win for Roosevelt pulls them above 500 in conference for now. They're now 5-4. It snaps St. Francis' 6-game winning streak. They fall to 8-3 in CCAC play, but there's still time to get Roosevelt back for this disappointing opening conclusion. Game 2 of the doubleheader coming up in just about a half hour or so. Plan for around 3:10 or so. 3:05 to 3:10, we should be starting Game 2. So tune back into the USF Sports Network for that. But that'll do it for the Game 1 coverage. Our final score, Roosevelt 9, St. Francis 4. We'll be back in about 25-30 minutes with Game 2 of today's doubleheader.